You are 19 years old and you want to be a singer. Not in the vague way that teenagers want things, in the specific, practiced way of someone who has been working toward it since she was 12. You have the voice. Everyone who has ever heard you says so. You have the discipline too, which is rare. You rehearse every day. You have a folder on your phone with contacts, opportunities, leads, every door you have knocked on and every door that hasn't opened yet. You are from a small city in Sinaloa, and you understand that where you are from is not where you are going, and the distance between the two is something you are building yourself, one contact at a time. When a woman approaches you after a performance at a local venue and says she works with artists and has someone she wants you to meet, you don't hesitate. You have been waiting for this. You have been preparing for this. You write down the name and the date and the address, and you tell your mother you have an audition. That part is almost true. You believe it completely. You get in the car on a Saturday afternoon in the specific mood of someone whose life is about to change. You are absolutely right about that. The house is unlike anything you have seen in person. You have seen houses like this in television series, the kind of production design that seems too deliberate to be real. But this is real. The gates, the gardens, the men at the entrance who look at you and then look away as if you are already categorized and filed. The woman who brought you is warm and professional and explains that the man you are meeting is an important music industry figure who hosts these gatherings regularly, that many careers have started exactly here, that you should relax and enjoy yourself and let the night develop naturally. You believe her because you want to believe her, and because nothing she has said is technically a lie, and because at 19 you don't yet have the specific vocabulary for what you are walking into. There are other women, beautiful, composed, dressed better than you. Some of them catch your eye and smile. You smile back. You think they are like you. Some of them are exactly like you. Some of them have been here long enough to know what the smile actually means. Nobody tells you the difference. Nobody needs to. You meet him that night. He is older, powerful in the way that fills a room before the person enters it. He listens to you sing. You perform 2 songs, your best 2, the ones you have rehearsed until they live in your body rather than your memory. He applauds. He says you have something real. He says he wants to hear more. He says stay. The word is friendly, generous even. It doesn't sound like what it is. You stay. The night goes long, and somewhere in it, the nature of things shifts in a way you don't have language for yet. A door closing so gradually you don't hear the click. You look for the woman who brought you at some point, and she is not there anymore. You ask someone where she went. The man beside you says she had to leave, but don't worry, everything is arranged. You ask, what is arranged? He smiles. You understand then that you asked the wrong question. The right question, the one that might have mattered, was one you should have asked at the gate. You didn't know yet what question that was. You are learning very quickly now. The first week, you tell yourself it is temporary. There is a room, comfortable, nicer than your room at home, which is somehow worse. There are clothes that appear in the closet. There are meals at a long table with other women who talk about normal things in the careful way of people who have agreed without discussing it to talk about normal things. You ask one of them quietly on the 3rd day how long she has been here. She looks at you for a moment. She says, long enough. She goes back to her food. You understand this is the complete answer. You stop asking questions that require that kind of answer. You perform when you are asked to perform. You sing at dinners, at gatherings, for men whose names you are not given. Your voice works because your voice has always worked. It doesn't know where it is, it just does what it was trained to do. You let it. You watch yourself from a slight distance, which you will later understand was the first survival mechanism your mind invented without being asked. The distance is small at first. Over time, you will learn to make it wider. You learn the architecture of the place the way you would learn the layout of any new environment, practically, carefully, without making your attention obvious. Where the men are positioned, when shifts change, which doors are always locked and which are sometimes not, which staff members look at you and which look through you. You file everything. You don't know yet what you are filing it for. Your mind does it automatically, the same way it memorized lyrics, repetition, pattern, retention. You think about your mother every day. You think about what she thinks happened to you. You think about the audition you told her about and whether she is still waiting for you to call with news. You don't allow yourself to stay in that thought for long because the thought has a bottom and you cannot afford to find it. You are beginning to understand the economy of this place, what is permitted, what is rewarded, what is dangerous. You are very good at reading economies. You grew up in one that required constant reading. That skill, at least, transferred completely. You are still here. That is what the skill is for. There is a woman who arrives 8 months after you. Younger, more frightened, less practiced at hiding it. You watch her make the mistakes you made in the first week. The wrong questions, the too obvious attention to exits, the face that hasn't learned yet to go neutral on command. You want to tell her things. You don't. Not because you don't care, but because caring in the wrong direction in a place like this is its own kind of danger, and you have learned to be precise about where you put things that can be used against you. You find a way instead. Small things. Sit here, not there. Eat this, not that. A look that means wait. A look that means not now. A look that means I see you and you are not alone, and that is all I can give you right now. But I am giving it completely. She learns to read you. You never speak directly. You don't need to. You grew up in a place where the most important communications were never the ones said out loud. That education, at least, prepared you for something. You didn't know it at the time. You know it now. Months pass. You stop counting them the way you stopped counting days in the first week. Not because time stops mattering, but because measuring it costs more than it returns. You have become fluent in the performance of this life. Smile at the right angle, speak when spoken to, sing when asked. Never ask about outside. Never mention family. Never let anyone see you thinking too hard about anything that isn't directly in front of you. You are so good at this that sometimes you frighten yourself, not because the performance is difficult, but because it is becoming less like performance. You catch yourself laughing genuinely at something and then sitting with that for a long time afterward. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming a version of yourself that can survive here, which is different, but the difference requires maintenance. You maintain it. You practice remembering who you were before the gate, the folder on your phone, the rehearsals, the specific feeling of wanting something so hard it lives in your body. You practice this the way you practiced your songs, every day, so it doesn't go somewhere you can't reach. The raid happens on a Thursday morning and the sound of it reaches you before anything else does. A specific quality of noise that is different from the normal sounds of the compound, heavier, more deliberate, coming from multiple directions simultaneously. You have thought about this moment, not obsessively, not in a way that fed hope you couldn't afford, but practically. What you would do, where you would go, how you would make yourself visible to the right people and invisible to the wrong ones in the same 30 seconds. You take the younger woman's hand. You move to the center of the room, away from windows, away from doors. You sit on the floor, both of you, hands visible, and you wait. This is what you decided months ago, and the quiet way you decided everything here. Not with drama, not with prayer, but with the flat, practical logic of someone who has been preparing without knowing what she was preparing for. The door opens. Man in uniform. You look at them and they look at you and you say clearly, in a voice that has performed in front of hundreds of people and never once broken, "We are not armed and we want to leave." The room they take you to is bright, and the woman across the table is federal, and she explains your situation in the careful tone of someone who has done this before. You answer every question. You have a good memory. You always had a good memory. It was part of what made you good at music, the ability to hold large amounts of precise information and retrieve it cleanly under pressure. You give them names, dates, descriptions, layouts, sequences of events. You give them everything your mind filed away over all those months without knowing what it was filing it for. The woman across the table stops writing at one point and just looks at you. You understand what the look means. She expected less. She expected someone broken into pieces. You are not broken into pieces. You are tired in a way that has no bottom, and you are something else that you don't have a word for yet. Something that isn't the person who got in the car on that Saturday and isn't entirely someone new either. You are whatever survives between the two. The woman resumes writing. You keep talking. Your voice is completely steady. It always was. Your mother is in the hallway when they bring you out, and she makes a sound you have never heard from her before and will never forget. You hold her for a long time. You don't cry. You will cry later, privately, and the specific way of someone releasing something that was stored under pressure for a very long time. But not here. Here you just hold her and breathe and let the fact of her be real. She asks if you are okay. You say yes. It is not entirely true and not entirely false, and she knows this and holds you tighter. Later there will be testimony and proceedings, and a process that takes longer than anyone tells you it will. Later there will be nights that are difficult in ways you didn't anticipate, mornings that require more construction than they should. Later you will find, slowly, the distance between who you were and who you are now, and you will decide what to do with that distance. But that is later. Right now you are in a hallway and your mother is holding you, and outside the window the city is going about its business completely indifferent to the fact that you just walked back into it. You breathe. You are here. That was always the only thing that mattered.